with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live?
From Iverstine Farms Butcher here on Perkins Road. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Hannegriff, joined by Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. Max Gotro is with us. Jordan Kent is back in the studio. Jimmy, of course, remains out. Funeral services will be announced for Coach Al Ott later on today. So Jimmy remains out for right now. But we send him our best. And, Mike, it's good to have you with us. Man, this is right before the 4th of July. When I called you, said, hey, man, can you come do this show? You at Iverstine? Oh, man, I'm in.
Yeah.
come by. You get a good the Cuban sandwich.
Yeah, I can figure out Cuban, the chicken salad, or the roast beef.
Man, we've got a bunch of stuff here. If you get a 4th of July barbecue that you're either doing at your house or you're going somewhere else, the single patty burgers here today, the house-made hot dogs, which are absolutely phenomenal, the sausage, the burgers, the pre-made steak burgers, chicken, brisket, they are ready for you. Holiday hours, they're only open from 9 until 2 for your last-minute grill items, so don't go to your cookout empty-handed. Come by here. You got all day today here at Iverstine to get ahead of the game for the 4th of July. So, Mike, we were talking before the show started. You and I both been in this business since going back into the 90s. So, and you've covered recruiting. So the jobs change, obviously. You were telling me that how you cover recruiting now, and the interest level in recruiting. And we're going to talk about the team itself, but I wanted to get this first. The interest now in high school recruiting is the interest in the transfer portal recruiting. Couldn't be more different at this point.
Yeah, because I've had this discussion with some of my peers in other markets, and then guys that also cover recruiting in this area, and I bring it up to them, and I think they either agree with me or they say similar things. But it was interesting to me watching Josh Pate on a segment with the guys over at Texags the other day, and he was talking about how little he covers recruiting anymore just because he feels that the interest has fallen off, and that's something I've been saying for well over a year. And that it's the interest in the transfer portal is just totally taken that and gone further. Now, look, do you still want to have 20 commitments by Labor Day if you're LSU? Yeah. But, and look, there's always been a contingent of fans on our message boards in 25-plus years where you get a commitment, you can book it. There's going to be someone who's going to say, well, I'll believe it when they're signed, or what does a commitment mean? I mean, that refrain's always been there. But now it's in the day of NIL and what does it really mean? Because someone can come in November and pull the rug right from underneath you and come in with a higher bid. And, look, there's college coaches that'll, say things like, we just want to be in the top 2 in November. But I think you're better off having commitments. You've got that relationship. They probably chose you early because that's really where they want to be. You just don't want to get caught where you're way out of whack with your NIL in November, December, before they can change their mind.
I can understand the frustration of fans because we feel it too. Some of the more difficult recruiting battles that we covered as far back as the early 90s, where guys would flip-flop, a guy changes his commitment on sign day. But I do remember the ones that you got in. It's like, look, we had to wrestle with this guy for a year and a half, and the flip-flopping and false statements and all that stuff. But once he got to campus, now you got him for at least 3 years, if not more. Well, that's not the case anymore either.
No, now you can have him for a spring football, and he can get in the portal and be gone before he even gets to his first fall semester.
That's one of the ones that drives me crazy. I can deal with transfers. I accept that. I can deal with NIL. I made my peace with that. What I can't stomach is the guy that commits, goes to spring football, and opts out. I can't commit to the guy that goes through August practice, is somewhere in September short of the 4-game redshirt minimum, and says, no, I'm out. I can't deal with it. I think there's a certain point in the process where if you're in the pool, you're in the pool, okay? If you want to transfer after the season's over, that's your business. That's your prerogative. If you want to take your recruiting all the way down to the end because you're genuinely undecided, I can deal with that too. I can't deal with the kid that says, yeah, I'm there as long as things are absolutely perfect and I get everything I want. And the second it's not, I'm out the door. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like, I deal with this every day, Hannah Griffin. That's part of the cost of doing business.
Yeah, it's I'm laughing because there's multiple kids who are announcing on July 4th. We've had that's just the nature of this job. I kind of joke that should have known that Eli Ricks was going to be a guy of questionable. Is it questionable character?
Wasn't he Christmas Day?
He was a Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I'll tell the story. My now deceased mom was ringing the doorbell coming over for Christmas with my sister. At the same time, at 2:00,
you had to do this today. Yeah, you had to do this today.
Guess. Seriously, it was the exact moment.
Yeah.
Guess what I did first?
You covered the recruit.
I got the commitment out and then opened the door.
And then, yeah, sure. Well, Mom can wait. She knows where you are. Come on in. I understand the frustration. Do you think we're all of 2 days into the new house settlement stuff? Do you think that this will increase the number of guys in the transfer portal or decrease the number of guys in the transfer portal? Now that the schools can actively pay them and you can enter into what I'm certainly hoping will be multi-year agreements, or you got to give something back, do you think a year from now we'll be talking about more in the transfer portal or less in the transfer portal?
I think it's going to be the same or more. I don't think it's going to decrease.
So you don't think that? And by the way, I'm asking this. I don't have a strong opinion on it. You're deeper into this area of the business than I am. But my hope was, maybe naive, that if you could enter into multi-year agreements with the school itself, and there was money to be doled out on a per game, per month, per semester, whatever basis, and you say, okay, yeah, I'm in for 3 years, but kind of like bonus money in the NFL, man, if you quit, you got to give some of that stuff back, that it would at least slow the exodus into the transfer portal. Am I being naive?
But I'm still confused about this entity that's going to decide whether particular NIL
the
deals.
CSC.
Yeah. I don't see how that's going to fly.
They're going to get sued.
They're going to get sued, and that's going to be over.
No, they're ready to be sued. They are anticipating getting sued. We're going back to court again.
Right. So all this lawsuit, all this revenue sharing does is, to me, creates a minimum wage. All that is the league minimum. That's all that is. Yeah, because
I never thought of it that way, but you're probably right.
That's just the league minimum. So if a guy, you're a 4-star safety that you want badly, and I'm just going to make up a number, and you tell him his NIL is $75,000, well, he knows that's the standard for an SEC school, and he's like, yeah, well, this outfit in Tuscaloosa is giving me that plus an extra $12,000 a month, and the local car dealerships over there is giving me an F-150 Raptor.
Yeah.
Well,
and
so, but this little board's going to say, all right, but how many commercials did that player do for that Ford dealership in Tuscaloosa? And is that we're ruling that's not? Well, who are you to tell a business what?
No, that's what they're going to court for.
Yeah, that's never going to fly. I just don't believe.
Now the courts are going to rule on it, but no, they're going to court on that for sure. When you talk to kids now, do they sound different than they did 10 years ago? Like, yeah, I'm going to fill in the blank school, but you're like, well, if that doesn't work out, I can always come back home or go further away from home. Does the tone sound different now than it used to?
I think that's probably still the same, but I think if you're an LSU coach, I think you probably go deeper, and like maybe you're inviting kids on campus that you have no intentions of offering, because you can see where that kid can go to the University of Houston or Tulsa, and
in 2 years,
yeah. Like we need to have a relationship with them.
Yeah, but wasn't that always the case, Mike? You would bring as many kids as you could to camp or on campus, because if you end up playing against them, okay, you know them a little bit. You've seen them work out. They always laughed. It's like, well, the number one quarterback in the NFL draft. Why are 20 teams going to see him. 20 teams aren't going to have a chance to draft him. No, but they'll get to know him a little bit. They have to play against him at some point. And 4 years from now, he might be a free agent that you might be looking at. College is kind of the same way. Hey, let me get a look at this kid. Let me feel him out, even if he is going somewhere else.
Yeah, and you can always blame it on the other coach that, man, I beat the table. I stood up on the table for you, but so-and-so who's no longer on our staff overruled me, Yeah, but to me, there's a whole lot of that, and I think that's across the board in all the sports on campus.
With all that being said, there is news coming later today and this weekend. What fill us in? We do very little recruiting on this show, but you're here today. There's stuff going on.
Early evening tonight, edge rusher Trenton Henderson, Pensacola Catholic. I think that one's going to be LSU over Florida. And then J.J. Bush, the linebacker from Theodore, Alabama, also a prediction for LSU on him. And I think he's also going down at 6 p.m. So that's a couple of more class of 26 commits, both on the defensive side of the ball, which between the edge rush position and the linebacker position on that defense, not only are they pretty stout right now, but they're looking darn good for the future.
All right, tell me everything you think about Lamar Brown in 45 seconds or less.
Online diva.
Well, okay.
But I love him.
For those that follow recruiting, one day a year, this is a defensive lineman from U-High who is a gazillion star.
Yeah, and he's – I remember talking to Andy Martin in the ninth grade when he was a ninth grader saying, he's going to be an offensive lineman. Then he wasn't a couple of years later. You take him and play him wherever he wants to play. But,
this is LSU
July
A&M,
10th.
Right? Yeah, this is LSU A&M, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like LSU.
You have it's LSU on July 10th. What about August 10th? September 10th? November 10th?
Exactly.
December 10th?
Going back to what we were talking about to start the show.
Well, that's just how you got to do it now. There's no.
No, he's a fantastic prospect, and you look at the current commitments, and I just say one thing: hold on to the Washington kid from Carr over everybody else.
You're not the only person that said that. That he's the.
I don't care what anybody other service has ranked number one. He's number one.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that from more than one person. I'll take your word for it on that one too. We're here at Iverstine Farms Butcher on Perkins Road again. 4th of July this Friday. Come in and stock up the $5 single patty burgers. House-made hot dogs. They got several different styles of the house-made hot dogs here. Sausage burgers, the pre-made steak burgers, chicken, brisket. They're ready for you here today. Going to be a bristling business here today. So come on by. Get ahead of the game. Don't wait till the last minute. The holiday butcher shop hours are only 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So don't go to your cookout empty-handed. Also, while you're here for lunch, get a butcher burger, the smoked chicken salad sandwich, the Cuban sandwich crisis, which is the house smoked ham with pulled pork, Swiss cheese.
I think that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, that's what the Daisy Duke, the fried house-made bologna with pickled onions, mustard mayo, cheddar cheese, hog's head grilled cheese today. The Reuben with the homemade pastrami here, pot roast po' boys, and, of course, the kids' menu, too. You want to bring the kids in for a little smaller hot dog on a bun or the grilled cheese sandwich right here at Iverstine Farms Butcher here on Perkins Road. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That Electric Man, BatonRouge.com. Electric work, Charlie, is not a do-it-yourself stuff at home. No. You got to call out a professional. You can call them out anytime. Yeah, they take calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Quality service for installations, lighting, electrical service, you name it, whatever you need. So need a little extra lighting for your office or for your home space? No problem. guaranteed scheduled appointments. When it came to my house, I mean, it was right on the dot. Call ahead of time, 10 minutes later. They are there, insured, free inspections, and estimates. We're licensed professionals, so you get quality service when we're dealing with anything from child-proof outlets, electrical safety inspections, dedicated computer circuits, or electrical code updates. ElectricManBatonRouge.com. That's 372-5356, 372-5356, or ElectricManBatonRouge.com.
Live at lunch.
You've heard me talk about Workbox services and how they can handle all of your movable storage needs for both commercial and residential. With our shipping containers of all sizes, customized in any way that you need or desire. Now Martin Padialis expanded his coverage outside the Baton Rouge area. Workbox can now service the Gulf Coast and New Orleans areas all the way to Lake Charles. Our staff at Workbox continues to grow with Hannah, Martin Jr., Brandy, and Chris. Do like I did when I needed a movable storage unit. Call Workbox at 343-4886 or workboxllc.com. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road since 1988. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games in a casual atmosphere with the friendliest service. Right now we're boiling crawfish 7 days a week. Monday through Friday, first batch comes out at 5 p.m. Weekends at noon. Sammy serves a wide mix of authentic Louisiana food prepared to order with the best ingredients available. Fresh Louisiana seafood, Cajun favorites, burgers, and po' boys, all built from scratch. Our kids' menu and popular appetizers are sure to please the pickiest of eaters. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road near Starring since 1988.
We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his Blue Period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name.
And away go troubles down the drain.
Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a clog-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus, $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
And we return here at Iverstine Farms Butcher on Perkins Road. Come on by and get yourself stocked up for the 4th of July. 9 to 2 holiday hours, so get on by here today. Get ahead of the game. Get those pre-made steak burgers, the chicken, the brisket. Tons of different things that you can bring to your cookout or if you're cooking at home here at Iverstine on Perkins Road. Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com is our guest. You went to everything that was available in spring. You were out there for every minute that they let you out there. You were out there. So when you left spring, how did you feel about what you had seen?
I think from top to bottom, this is his most well-rounded team, deepest team. But does that necessarily mean that it's going to be at the end of the year, his team with the best win-loss record? Just because because of the schedule. I hate the schedule.
Well, the schedule's challenging for sure. Here's what I know about spring, and specifically this spring, even more so than previous springs. Number one, continuity is not going to be there. There's too many new people. There's too many of the transfers that got in, of the early enrollees from the signing class that got in. Your upperclassmen, your draft eligibles, they're all gone. So expecting there to be offensive continuity, I don't think the projected offensive line.
That's the big one.
I don't think the projected offensive line took one snap together. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're expecting, we got our Phil Steele yesterday. This is what Phil Steele thinks.
I was looking at you having that. I'm like,
we got it yesterday. I mean, look, I can't keep 9,000 names in my head anymore. I
like that you're still old school and grabbing that.
Look, believe me, I don't go anywhere without this thing.
Now, if to be fair, if I see one, I'm buying one.
Yeah, of course. It's $20 well spent. Used to be 6.
20.
Used to be
20.
Yeah, it's $20, right, Max?
So Phil Steele's is like Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, the price
$20.
It's $20. Okay, it's $20 well spent. All right, so this is his projected. This is his projected starting offensive line, which is pretty close to what I got with Braylon Moore at center, where he didn't spend a ton of time in spring.
He will start there.
Josh Thompson and DJ Chester at left and right guard. Which I suspect that Paul Mubenga is going to certainly make a play there, but okay. And then Tyree Adams at left tackle and Weston Davis at right tackle. That's a pretty good guess.
By the way, Moore is the center, but I'll say this. Everybody who's wanting to, just because of the way DJ Chester struggled, is a newcomer at center, don't throw him away. That kid is a beast.
Not only am I not throwing him away, I think he's going to start. I just think he's going to be a starter at guard.
Right.
And he can play some center if something were to happen to Moore. I even thought in the spring they may take a look. He's tall enough, he's long enough to play tackle if you had to. Off of that 5 that I just listed, the biggest question mark to me would be, can Weston Davis hold down right tackle? I feel good about Adams on the left side. Can Davis hold down the right side? If he can, then this is fine. If not, then I think Josh Thompson is a swing. If Mubenga has to move, and Mubenga started 5 games for you last year, if Mubenga has to move back in at guard, you can move Thompson, who played both guard and tackle at Northwestern. That would be my first 6. What did you see?
Yeah, and obviously Thompson getting there when he did.
About halfway through, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't have a bona fide opinion on him. But I will say this, when you've got you were out there multiple times as well. The time we're allotted, and there's other folks that get to go out there and see a lot more than we do. When you have one too many people that see the entirety of practices, come back and tell you this offensive line still can't block anybody, that's an area of concern.
I don't.
And everybody wants to get after Joe Sloan and play calling and red zone this. Look, man, that it's time for that offensive line to do something. They haven't had a substantial running game since BK's been here.
They were a huge disappointment a year ago, from a running standpoint, especially. The pass protection was good, but good enough. But we spent the whole summer last summer. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. And then, Will Campbell went to media days, and we're going to run the ball. Okay. And it turned out they couldn't run the ball. So I don't – when you say the offensive line can't block anybody, or you come out of that and you say, well, that's an area of concern, are you losing one-on-one matchups, or are you just not in a flow? Do you not have any continuity where it's so important? There's a big difference between guys getting beat one-on-one.
But it also makes you feel good about the defensive line.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we got good pitching, but no hitters.
And we're all just assuming everything's going to be great there. Kyle Williams is an unknown, but I do like the bodies they have there, and I think the edge rushers are going to be substantially better, which will help the corners. So I tend to think, have you gotten to this whole deal that's been a popular topic the last couple of weeks, which is the typical off-season talk circuit topics du jour, give your ceiling and your floor. Is your ceiling 11-1, but your floor 7-5? Is it, because I think 11-1 and 8-4. But to me, if the team is going to exceed 9-3, it's going to be because of Blake Baker's defense.
I think they'll be better defensively. I think they'll be better up front. Here's what I like the most about the question marks. If we're going to talk about floor, they're not dependent on any one offensive lineman. Like if this guy doesn't pan out, they're screwed. They're not dependent on any one defensive lineman. That if this guy doesn't work out, they're in a bind. They're not dependent on any one corner or safety. They threw a lot of bodies at this thing. They threw a lot of money at this thing. This transfer portal, I said this back in February, I said, you really look at this roster. Let's say that one of those transfer offensive linemen can't play. Just complete bust. Well, they've got two other guys that have played substantial snaps, okay? What happens if Jacoby and Guillory, the injury reflares up? They brought in other defensive tackles. What happens if there's one defensive lineman, defensive end out of all of the edges? They brought three other guys in. What if, they were so pigeonholed last year that when one safety went to pieces, his game went to hell, they had to move three other people just to get right. I don't think they have to do that anymore.
The personnel that they had to work with on that side of the ball and the number that they ended up with in total defense and where they were at, I think it was a miraculous job by Blake Baker and that staff. And now they've got the bodies. Here's the other part, just flipping back to the offense again. I think Nussmeier is going to get moved out a little bit, and there's going to be a lot of quick throws. That's why I keep thinking Bauer Sharp is going to be huge for him. Look, while your offensive line's trying to find their way, you got a lot of quick passes. I think they're going to be extremely quick getting rid of the ball.
That would be wonderful. I also heard him down at the Manning camp. Max, I don't know if you were there when he said this. I realize I have to run a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Not expecting him to turn into Jamel Holloway, but he's going to have to run just a little bit. Yeah, he's a good enough athlete to run. We're not talking – Zach Mettenberger couldn't run, okay? He was sort of a – Nussmeier can run. He can run enough. Again, I'm not expecting Tim Tebow. I'm not expecting him. I'm not expecting Jaden Daniels.
I'm pretty certain if he and Joe Burrow ran the 40-yard dash side by side, he would beat Burrow.
He might, but Burrow was a willing runner, and he was an instinctive runner. He knew when he needed to run.
Too often Nussmeier decides when it's too late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The instinctive part of Burrow's game, he knew when he needed to run, and he knew when certain things were open. The most glaring example being the Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, where there were some big first downs picked up by Burrow. Well, Nussmeier doesn't have that, but it doesn't mean that instinct, but it doesn't mean he can't run.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm like, I think he's going to cut his interceptions in half. Okay.
That would be huge. If you give me 6 interceptions for Nussmeier right now, I'll take it.
But the other part I just wasn't even thinking about is the number of fumbles that he had. The interceptions wasn't just the dozen. His turnovers. Those fumbles were bigger than his interceptions.
How many fumbles do you remember?
What do you have, like 6, 8?
I can think of a couple glaring ones. One at Ole Miss had a really bad time. I'll look up the exact number.
So cut down on your turnovers.
Some of the interceptions can be like punts, but the fumbles are really bad.
When you talk about some of these quick throws, and I like the Bauer Sharp thing, to me also that they will have the opportunity to stretch the field more. And this goes more than just what Nussmeier can complete, because I think the deep ball is probably the weakest part of his game right now. Doesn't mean he can't get better. The ball just kind of drifts on him a little bit. But Nick Anderson, Barian Brown, and Chris Hilton for the whole season, man, It's going to scare the hell out of deep safeties. You know, you better give them some room, or you're going to be in a bind.
I was like a lot of people early last year, just kind of, I don't know if aggravating is the word, but, Hilton being injured all the time.
Sure.
But if that Chris Hilton that was there at the end of the year and in the bowl game was there all season long,
a big difference.
I think LSU's got 1 or 2 more wins.
It changes how you have to defend them when you got to defend this whole deep part of the field that you never had to defend before.
And I think a lot of people that were getting after Sloan in post games shows in your show, and I think that a lot of that would have gone away. That option wasn't there. When you're trying to hit Aaron Anderson in the back of the end zone, that's not your guy.
Every caller to my post-game show was completely cordial, understood exactly what was going on, and never had a problem with anything that they did. You listen to post-game on your way home, right? Okay. You remember. Everybody was completely fine with everything that was going on. Those guys, they're field stretchers. And they didn't have it. Yeah, they did not. For most of the year, they did not. And, yes, they look different.
And, by the way,
Hilton.
I love Aaron Anderson more than anybody. But he's not that guy when you in the red zone when you need a tall guy who's got the vertical and you can do the drop in the bucket over the shoulder and catch him in the back of the end zone.
I have become a big Aaron Anderson fan. I am now convinced that he was way more hurt in the 22 seasons he led on. And you saw him as a healthy contributor last year. Makes a big difference. We're at Iverstine Farms Butcher. We're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff done a great job for our family over the years. So if you've got neck pain, you got back pain, you got things that are keeping you from getting a full range of motion, you got things that are hurting you, keeping you from getting a good night's sleep, let them help you out. Let them target those problem areas and get you into a rehab that's going to make sense, going to target those problem areas. Sometimes they can put you into an exercise and stretching program that'll do the trick. You know, for me, a lot of those things that acted as kind of as prehab really cut off a lot of things. And, you know, for my wife to be able to go in there and get some of the treatment that she needed, it was just a godsend. So, Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway, near Drusilla, Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. Professional sports handicapper Randy McKay joins this show. We continue our NFL previews when we return at Iverstine Farms Butcher, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends over at
By the way, what does
Edward
Phil
Jones
Steele
Investments
have?
Tex over on Jefferson, across from Town Center. I've had investments for Tex for many, many years, and more than pleased with the return on investments. The great thing about Tex is he stays on top of things, constantly tweaking things as things happen in our economy. Looking to save or get a plan for retirement. Looking to get a plan to send your kid to college. How about a plan for both? Text Morris at Edward Jones, 928-8659, 928-8659.
Live at lunch.
Do you know what you would do if you were in a car wreck? It's easy to panic when you or someone you care about is hurt in an accident. Who will pay the medical bills? Who will pay the car repair? Who will deal with the insurance companies for you? Protect your rights. You need someone you can trust. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 343-1111. The law offices of O.C. Brown will handle everything for you. 343-1111 or online at ocbrown.com. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Attention vehicle owners. Before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life, giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Siegen near Perkins.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
The Grand Bayou Casino, conveniently located off I-10 at exit 139 in Crowstead, offers the latest video poker machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Got a great staff at the Grand Bayou Casino. Our inviting staff will greet you with complimentary coffee and sodas as you enjoy listening to the curated tunes in our comfortable seating. Make the trip to Grand Bayou Casino, where players are welcome. The Grand Bayou Casino, I-10 at the Crowstead exit. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. The Grand Bayou Casino. With all of the financial headlines, are you worried if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by your local Edward Jones advisor. Tex Morris on Jefferson. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his blue period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name.
And away go troubles down the drain.
Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a clog-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710.
Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
And return here at Iverstine Farms Butcher on Perkins Road. Come on, stock up. We got a great crowd in here. Everybody getting ready for the 4th of July. Bring them to your barbecue, or if you're grilling at home, you're going somewhere else. $5 single patty burgers. 4th of July grilling items, the homemade hot dog sausages, pre-made steak burgers, brisket. Everything you could want here at Iverstine. Some real unique items as well here at Iverstine Farms Butcher. Let's bring in Randy McKay, who's enjoying the 4th of July, probably somewhere considerably cooler than where we are. Randy, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm about ready to fly out of Las Vegas and be in cooler North Dakota for the 4th of July.
North Dakota will be considerably cooler than where we are. So we're into our NFL previews with you now, and today's team is the Houston Texans, who've got a win total of 9.5 and a number to win the division at minus 106 is what we're seeing. I think this is one of the more interesting teams in NFL, Randy, because I loved C.J. Stroud coming out of Ohio State. I liked him more than Bryce Young. And after his rookie season, that looked pretty good. After the second season, not as much. C.J. Stroud regressed a little bit in year 2. So is it C.J. Stroud, or is it the fact that that offensive line got him beat up pretty good, and there were significant injuries in his receiving core that kind of stunted his growth a little bit, I thought, in year 2?
Yeah, it's all about the offensive line for this team. I mean, they struggled last year, and they got one of the worst units coming in this year. They're trying to rebuild it. They did get rid of Tunstall and Shaq Mason, but they did sign this Cam Robinson and Laken Tomlinson. And then they added veterans Ingram and Brown, so kind of a makeshift to start. I don't get this offensive line ranked very high. so they're going to have offensive struggles probably to start till they get some continuity with this team. And the receiving cores, if Collins is playing, it seems like they can do pretty good with the receivers and Stroud. But if he's not playing, and he's been getting injured as well, along with the rest of them, it seems like they struggle a lot. And you've got a pretty solid tight end. This still is the best team in the division. I still see them winning the division. Very weak division. And but their schedule, of course, is pretty tough. They got some pretty tough road games. They got a bye after the fifth game. I could see them being 3-2, and then coming in there, and then they got 3 straight home games. It's going to be an important stretch. And then, of course, they got 3 out of 4 on the road before the end of season with the last 4. So, this team is kind of in doubt a little bit, but I still see them being the best team in a bad division. So, no play on the 9.5. But if you want to look at them to win the division, that's probably a pretty good bet.
Right at even money, minus 106. There's not. To their credit, they tried a little bit to address the problems that they had a year ago with the injuries at wide receiver when they had their 3 guys, when they had Nico Collins, and before. I'm blanking. It's before Stephon Diggs got hurt, and Tank Dell, they were pretty good. When everybody got hurt, they got into a bind. So now what they've done is they brought in 2 draft picks out of their top 3. They brought in an offensive tackle from Minnesota. So in the draft, you mentioned the free agency. In the draft, they went after their biggest needs from a year ago. They didn't just draft best player available. They went after some real needs. Is it enough?
Yeah, we'll see if it's enough on the offensive front, but I want to get into the defense here. This is a very good defense. We've seen them in the playoffs, the close, tight games, and then they finally lost to the Chiefs. But this defense here, very solid front 4, very good linebackers, very good D-backs. And they brought in this Gardner Johnson from Philly that should help them on the corner, the other corner across from Stingley. So they're going to be, if you want to look to bet this team during the games, it should be a lot of running the ball, a lot of under-type games. I don't think there's going to be a lot of high-scoring games because you got the Houston offensive line giving you trouble, and then, of course, their defense is going to probably shut out the other teams, especially in the division. I see this being the best defense of all the teams in the division. The other teams in the division don't have great defenses, so that's what makes this team the best team in the division is his defense.
Where are you on D'Amico Ryans? He got off to a terrific start there. The expectations, I think, have risen a lot. It's easy to forget a year or 2 before Ryans got there, this organization was a mess. From the ownership transition, when Bob McNair passed, to multiple general managers, even in their public relations staff. They had a lot of turnover, back-to-back one-and-done coaches. Ryans kind of came in and got all of that, one of the guys that came in and got all of that settled. So it was a really good start for him, but now the expectations are a lot higher. Where are you on D'Amico Ryans? Where you got him ranked in your coaching rankings?
I got him right around the top 15 range there, 10 to 15. In that range, he's done a solid job, like you said. I mean, his teams he doesn't make a whole lot of coaching strategy mistakes on the sideline, which is pretty important. He is going to be replacing an offensive coordinator. We got this Cauley coming in for Bobby Slowick. And we'll see if that changes things on the offense. So, of course, when you do your coaching rankings, you got to do offensive and defensive coordinators as well. So that hurts him as well. We don't know if we're going to get out of this new offensive coordinator for his style. I have a feeling this style is going to be like orientated more to the under and running the ball more than being up tempo. So we'll see how it goes and from there. But he's done a solid job turning around the team, and it helped when they drafted C.J. Stroud and had that big draft with Stingley as well.
Max, you weren't a big Slowick fan.
No, he was getting thrown around for head coaching openings and stuff, and he ends up getting fired. He was very adamant on running the ball on early downs more than anybody in the NFL. And they had C.J. Stroud. They would put him behind the sticks all the time on third downs. So this happened in his rookie year, and he was able to overcome it. His sophomore season, he had a lot of third and longs routinely, and I just thought that put him in a hole. So I'm interested to see what Nick Caley does coming from the Rams.
Well, they got a veteran running backs. We'll see what Joe Mixon, I thought, had a really good year last year. Kind of when he left Cincinnati, I thought, well, he's on the downside. I thought he had a really good year. And then you got Nick Chubb, who what does he have left? We're talking about a very productive running back in his day. He's older now, and he's coming off a serious injury. So, Randy, can they run the football with this older running back room?
Yeah, it's all going to be depending on how they can revamp that line if they're going to run the ball here. So, you got two, older running backs, and you can throw Dameon Pierce in there as well, which is a pretty good three guys to have in the backfield with that bunch. So if they can get some holes for them guys, they can still probably hit them pretty good. And we'll see if there's still some tread on the tires there with Mixon and Nick Chubb coming off them injuries.
I'm with you on the 9.5. I think is a tough play, but to win this division, I may look like an idiot at the end of the year by saying this, but I think this is a great bet because I can rule two teams out from winning this division. The Titans are not going to win this division with a rookie quarterback, and I don't think the Colts are going to win the division with Daniel Jones as quarterback. So that leaves me with Jacksonville, who was good 2 years ago and a disaster a year ago, and that kind of leads you to what you think of Trevor Lawrence, because you may think differently of the Colts than I do. I can't back a team with Daniel Jones as a quarterback, and he's going to win that job over Richardson to win the division. So that leaves me with Jacksonville. Your thoughts about where their biggest threat in the division comes from?
Yeah, definitely Jacksonville, but then you got to remember too they're getting a new coach in there as well.
Yeah.
So you don't know what we're going to get with that team. Of course, we'll probably do a preview of them coming up here soon. So we'll see. And how I feel about the Titans. I feel that they might be one of the worst teams again this year. So and the Colts could be right there with them. So I definitely agree with that take. So it's definitely Titans or Jacksonville, and Jacksonville still has never proven it to it lately, and especially with their defense as well. So give the edge to the Texans here because their defensive unit is going to be one of the best ones.
Well, we pass that information along to Jimmy when he gets back about the Titans because he's a diehard. He went down. Talk about go down with the ship last year, man. He rode those Titans all the way to the end, all the way to the bottom of the ocean. I even got him a T-shirt at Christmas just to commemorate.
He swore him off like 5 times. And just kept playing
and there he was holding his Titans ticket every Sunday. Randy, what you got planned for the 4th of July?
Nothing too much as of right now. Probably be together with my brother's family is home, so I'll get to see maybe one of my nephews and a couple of my great nephews. So just doing that, enjoying some fireworks, enjoying some lake time for sure.
Randy, you ever bet on the hot dog contest? Is that something you do?
About 3 years ago, I bet on when the first year Colorado, it was about 4 years ago. I bet on they had a good line on Chestnut, and we bet the hot cut that year. We bet it real hard, Chestnut, and it came out real well. But that's the only year I bet on it, and that worked out pretty well.
You have a total, don't you, Max?
They're out there. I'll just say that.
How many? 10 minutes. What's the total on hot dog?
I haven't seen it this year. It's always around like 74.5. For Chestnut. He's back after a 1 year hiatus.
Off of a hiatus. We got to go under, right? I'm not betting this. Unless you come up with a really good angle. Randy, enjoy your time with your family here over the holiday weekend. Thanks so much as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
Randy McKay, professional sports handicapper. We're at Iverstine Butcher here on Perkins Road. The Dog Days menus, Chicago dogs, the chili dogs, the chimney dogs, all on special here today at Iverstine. You come in, make it a combo with fries inside and a drink. You can get the Chicago dogs, got the tomato, the pickle spear, the pepperoncini. relish, and mustard. That's a Chicago dog. Get that here for lunch today among the lunch items at Iverstine as you stock up for the 4th of July. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Chad Reynolds of Legacy Title, 296-0060 for all of you real estate closings. Ashley Dono, Marietta Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, our great staff at Legacy Title. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds of Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at lunch.
At Town Square Pizza, we take pride in serving Baton Rouge with fresh, delicious, piping hot, personalized pizza with unmatched speed. Whether you're a downtown worker, a family looking for convenience and value, or an out-of-towner staying at one of the nearby hotels, Town Square Pizza is the spot for you. Try a specialty pizza like the Spanish Town Supreme or custom build your own. Family packs, kids' meals, and salads are available as well. It's hip to be square at Town Square Pizza, downtown facing. What else? Town Square.
Go Automotive has a great selection of new cars. Chevy, GMC, Hummer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You rather a pre-owned vehicle? Using our resources will help find you any vehicle that you're looking for. Our service department offers VIP service. You never have to come to the dealership. We'll pick up the vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner, service the vehicle, and return it when it's done. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from Go Automotive. That's Go Automotive in LaPlace and Plaquemine. If you're near the north side of campus, I need to remind you about a couple of longtime favorites. Highland Coffee is the original specialty coffee shop in Baton Rouge since the 1980s. My personal favorite, love getting my cappuccino from their friendly, knowledgeable staff, roasted right in the shop. Louis Cafe for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. Provincial omelet, Cajun hash browns, big cheesy Lou, all served up in that famous open kitchen atmosphere. In Tigertown since 1941. A couple of great spots, Highland Coffees and Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
This is Charles Henniger. For total maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing, Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. Service today, every day. That's their slogan at Total Maintenance, so nobody ever has to go to sleep hot. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded into the New Orleans area, as well as their offices in Baton Rouge with full staffs in both markets. Call 480-1000 in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
Get Moss Max and less text during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and Dip Trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, or cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports, and it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions, just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net. Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports, and it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions, just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
ALS is a progressive and neurodegenerative disease, and we need your help to find a cure. The mission of the ALS Association, Louisiana-Mississippi chapter, is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS, and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Whether you are newly diagnosed, a military veteran, a caregiver, or someone looking to learn more about how to navigate living with ALS, they can help. Visit als.org to learn more. That's als.org.
104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Annie.
Back here at Iverstine Farms Butcher on Perkins Road. Mike Scarborough with us for a little while longer here. Mike, you guys really beefed up your coverage on LSU baseball this year. A lot more content with it, and all the way through the College World Series, and now into the draft. We're just a couple of weeks away from the draft. So you got guys, man.
Yeah, it's didn't miss any of the media opportunities for Jay, and we're there for all the post games. And man, what more can you say about Jay Johnson, man? And it's just every button he pushes. It's and look, I'm watching. I know he's got transfer portal kids on campus visiting.
Yeah,
and he's also doing loads of interviews, and he uses all of his interviews to recruit. He always has something in there designed to. I mean, I'm still laughing. If you're a pitcher, how can you not? You know, if you're a pitcher, how can you not want to come here? He's recruiting pitchers in his national championship postgame.
Well, haven't we seen successful coaches do this? And it's a reasonable question. You could say that Paul Skeens was just a once in a generation talent because of what happened with him, but there's plenty of other pitchers that have come in and developed and are going high. Look, Cade Anderson was a terrific prospect coming out, but he was not thought of as the number one pick in the draft that he is now. I know that Anthony Ianson came way high up, further zoomed up the draft boards this year. And Chase Shore is another kind of precocious talent, really came on.
Who's going to play first base?
I have some thoughts.
Are you going to say Ethan Fry?
No, Ethan Fry's going to play left field. But not that he can't play first base. But I got.
So then where does Stanfield do?
I think Stanfield's going to get drafted. We're up against the break. We'll come back, continue this discussion at Iverstine. Hour number 2, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat, Snow Seafood and Steaks, celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, since 1971, Snow's has been serving a wide assortment of menu items to please everyone. Steaks, seafood, gumbo, homemade soups, salads, specialty cocktails, great wine selection, and oh yes, the best white chocolate bread pudding that you'll find anywhere. It's the total dining experience. Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at Snow Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales. By now you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crowntown Room at Dozy Place. The Crowntown Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze. For the perfect blend of sweet and spicy, you can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and OCBrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance and Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
Feeling fatigued and lacking your usual zest for life? Low T could be the culprit. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers testosterone therapy plans starting at $125 a month with no contrast. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
And we return here at Iverstine Farms Butcher on Perkins Road. Mike Scarborough sitting in for Jimmy today. Max Cotro is also with us. Wes Reynolds will be with us here in about 15 minutes. Iverstine's single patty burgers for $5 right now. Your 4th of July grilling items. House-made hot dogs and sausages. We've got the pre-made steak burgers, chicken, brisket. Huge selection here. Some unique items as well. So if you're planning on doing some holiday grilling or you're going somewhere, don't go empty-handed. Come here and pick up some goodies at Iverstine. Also, the holiday hours, only 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for your last-minute grill items. So don't let it catch up on you. Don't let it sneak up on you. And don't go empty-handed to your barbecue. Come on here to Iverstine. I'm going to stock up right before we leave here today for the holiday weekend. Mike, to kind of finish up on what you asked, I think LSU's first baseman next year will come from either the recruiting class or the portal. I don't know that next year's first baseman is on campus right this second. I think Ethan Fry's probably ticketed for left field. Not that he couldn't play first, but I think he's ticketed for left field. The big guy can run a little bit, yeah.
No.
I think he'll do well out there. If he doesn't get drafted higher, then I feel pretty good about him coming back right now with what's going on.
I like having that 6'4" long arm guy stretched out at first base.
I do too.
How many outs did Jared Jones get because of that?
He improved a lot over there. From his freshman year he improved a lot over there. I'm with you.
But I know Fry is basically, I need to show the scouts I can play the outfield.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where his future is too. Also, if at all possible, and it wasn't this year, I like left-handed first baseman. That's just me. It's an easier throw from where you are over there. I think that comes out of the portal or out of the signing class. Let's jump back on.
By the way, how long before we learn that he's been bumped in pay? And then there's a contract extension.
I would think probably before the school year starts.
I mean, where's he at right now in the league or nationally?
In the top
6
8,
or 7?
I think it is. If you talk about what O'Connor got at Mississippi State, knocked him back a notch. I suspect that Scott Woodward will have that taken care of by the time school starts. Ordinarily, I'm not for crazy go nuts over these contract extensions for coaches. I think most of them are unnecessary. This one is very necessary for 2 reasons. Number one, the guy's won 2 national championships in 3 years. You don't even want him to pick up the phone. And I'm fairly certain there's a pretty rich university about 6 hours west of here that's going to be looking for a coach next June. I don't even want the phone to ring. Okay, just forget about it. Go poach somewhere else. Your money's no good here, because I think.
And by the way, they floated that there. I can tell you that right now.
Absolutely, you're A&M, and you're steamed that Schlossnagle went to Texas.
And the same guy who floated that to me on the phone, this is pre LSU winning a national championship, said that his prediction was in several years that Jay Johnson would be at A&M and Tony Vitale would be at LSU.
Oh. Didn't Hunt do What If Wednesdays? Okay, what if that happened? Wow.
Jay's not going anywhere.
No, I don't think so either. But when you think about it, okay, your top baseball coaches are now between $2 and $3 million a year. Okay, so he's at the top of the game. He's got to be at the top of the pay curve. If you're A&M and you just spent $75 million, $78 million for somebody not to coach, I know it's football and not baseball, you say, hey, wait, I can have the best baseball coach in the country for $5 million a year? Well,
by the way,
I'll spill that off of one of my oil wells. No, you don't let him. You don't let him make that call.
I could be wrong. I don't think Jay is the guy that says I have to be number one. But to me,
no, you're paying for what he's done, though.
To me, you have to have him in the ballpark.
Yeah.
And I think if what you really do, and I know he's going to meet it, is you load it up with incentives that if he meets all the incentives, he is the highest paid guy.
I got no problem.
But he's also, and I also think he's probably the guy like, okay, you don't have to get me equal or number one. I'll take less if you make sure that I have more of an NIL pot to deal to
this. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. This is nowhere near something that I'm worried about, because if there's one thing that Scott Woodward has never been accused of, it's not extending his coaches. Okay, if anything, he has been accused of overextending and overspending on coaches that didn't necessarily deserve it. There's, a couple I could mention, but I'll be nice. If you're going to extend certain coaches and give out monster contracts to coaches that didn't necessarily deserve it, what do you do when you got one that does deserve it and then some, and there is a predator lurking a year from now that's got unlimited resources? They're going to get this one done.
It's the doldrums of summer. Why do we have to be nice? I posed this question yesterday because it's that time of year where this is what you do. Give me your top 3 LSU coaches hired in this century that were the biggest waste of time.
Say that again.
Top 3 LSU hires this century in major sports that were a waste of time.
Meaning that they didn't do well?
Oh, totally unremarkable tenure. A waste of time. Nobody that's going to ever come between quarters of a football game and wave to the fans.
I would start with Trent Johnson.
That was my number one.
Who came with fantastic credentials as a basketball coach. He was a 3-time coach of the year in 3 different conferences, but he was not into it. He was.
But then I was argued that Johnny Jones was worse.
Well, Johnny Jones was not as good of a basketball coach as Trent Johnson was, but he was a better
Trent's
recruiter.
First year where he inherited a bunch of players.
Yeah, that was Brady's team that he won the league with. Johnson was a better bench coach than Jones, but he was not. Johnny could recruit.
And
Nicky Fargas is
okay. That was the wild card, because my 3 were 3 of the last 4 men's basketball coaches. But then someone brought up Fargas, so I dropped somebody.
Nikki was, she was. If she was a military, she would have gone, road. She retired on active duty. Basically, she quit on the job. I said that when she was here. I remember we did the show. We did the show today over at the volleyball place, and Tamika Johnson came by, and she did a few segments with it. Tamika was great, and it was basically that was the year that Fargas recruited nobody, and I'm not saying anybody good, nobody. They brought in nobody. So if you're not going to recruit, if you're not even going to try.
So the thesis of this is more often than not they get basketball wrong.
Well, they've gotten a lot more wrong in basketball. Now, to their credit, the women's basketball program. We know what happened with Pokey Chapman, but they were succeeding. Van Chancellor, they were succeeding, and certainly under Kim Mulkey, they have succeeded. Nicky Fargas was one of the best resume hires at the time when she came in. I thought it was a fantastic.
Nobody
hire.
objected. There's no objectionable about it.
Because she had played in the Southeastern Conference for Pat Summitt. She had sat on Pat Summitt's bench for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it was. And then she had gone to UCLA, which had not been a successful women's basketball program, and it put them in the tournament high. I want to say they were a 2 or 3 seed her final year there. So it's like she had the perfect resume. She had worked player, assistant coach, head coach, learned under some. I mean, you sit next to Pat Summitt for 10 years between being a player and an assistant coach. No, her resume was perfect. She just got here and quit. I mean, and she was a very good bench coach. I mean, to recruit as minimally as she did and still have respectable records, she just didn't recruit.
So you're going Trent Johnson, Johnny Jones, then her?
No. She's higher than Johnny Jones. Johnny recruited. Okay, Johnny brought in Mickey and Martin. He brought in Tim Quarterman. I mean, besides what ultimately did him in, which was Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons would have been a challenge for any coach. Okay, no matter you get this, there are NBA coaches, 3 or 4 of them. How many guys have coached Ben Simmons in the NBA?
I've been to a lot of teams.
See, Ben Simmons is a flash in my memory.
Well,
but the rest of it is totally unremarkable.
But Ben Simmons sunk Johnny. I don't know if it would have gone different if Simmons would have never come here. But Simmons came here. He didn't want to go to college. He wanted to go straight to the pros, and he couldn't do that. And for some reason, I know because his godfather was here, and he said, well, I'll go play a year in college. He would have probably been better off just going and playing a European Pro League for a year because he was not interested in being here at all. And it sunk the team chemistry. He and Quarterman hated each other. And that team, which had enough talent to get into the tournament, didn't get there. And Johnny was in a pickle as to what to do because you were supposed to center all this stuff around Simmons, who didn't give a flip. Okay, he could play, but he didn't give a flip. And now that he's in the league, how many coaches, Max? 5, 6. They don't know what to do with him either. I mean, I hate pinning that on Johnny because Johnny tried, but which coach has reached Ben Simmons and gotten him to play at his absolute top effort level?
I kicked over a hornet's nest.
Well, you asked. You hijacked my segment, which is about the LSU secondary, but
I'm
no,
sorry.
I mean, no, that's okay. But no, the Simmons experiment blew up on him. Any coach in the country would have taken Ben Simmons. Any coach in the country would have said, I'll deal with the expectations if I've got that kind of talent. And Simmons got here and went through the motions. And going through the motions produced some really good numbers for him. I mean, you saw flashes like, oh, wow, how's this guy? What I never understood about him was somebody who could develop all of the skills that he did and obviously spend as much time in the gym as he did before he got to college and couldn't shoot and refused to work on it. He'll go down as one of the biggest mysteries to me that I've ever covered in any sport. How many coaches? See, Max is still counting coaches.
Looks like 5.
Okay. It's 5 NBA coaches, okay, professional basketball coaches. So, look, I'm not telling you Johnny would have been successful here long term. I think there were some limitations to him. Johnny Jones is not a bad basketball coach. This was just a little bit the expectations of this were a little bit past him, okay? He's made the tournament and had winning records at other places, but the situation that he was put in with Simmons would have sunk a lot of coaches. So I give Johnny a little, like I said, not that I thought it was a great hire at the time or that I thought Johnny would have been successful long term, but the Ben Simmons thing would have got to a lot of guys.
Charlie, just circling back to one more thing. Jay Johnson 6th in the SEC now.
In the SEC?
I think there are a couple national names that are above him as well, but definitely 6th in the SEC in terms of average.
What's the pay gap? Just real quick.
Probably about $500,000.
Well, Battello's making 3.
Yeah.
And he's making 1.8
yeah.
roughly. So there's a big gap there. O'Connor's at 2.9.
That's
now
that's a new contract.
And then Schlossnagle at 2.7. And
Texas had to pull him over. Corbin's won 2 national championships.
2.45.
He's won 2 national
championships. But those numbers doesn't include what he earned in. I know he had bonuses in there.
This is average,
which
salary,
we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah.
Who's outside the SEC that's above him?
I want to say
Link Jarrett, maybe at Florida State.
I wanted to say Louisville. Was there.
Yeah. O'Connell. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Woodward's got some time to fix that, which he will. To answer your question. Start of school. I
was saying July 15th.
Man, you're not going to let them go out for the 4th of July?
But then I got. It's all about when is their next board of supervisors meeting.
Yeah. I don't know when that is. All right, I'm going to have you back when Jimmy goes to Del Mar to talk about the secondary. Tell everybody about what's going on Tiger Bait.
Yeah, got a lot on Tiger Bait. Go over there, $1. You can try us out for a week. And, of course, our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, LSU Tigers on Tiger Bait. And you can follow me on X at Scarborough Mike.
I appreciate what he did here today. On July the 2nd, he came in here, and a topic I never would have come up with got me ranting and raving for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
man.
I kind of enjoyed that.
Mike, we always appreciate
got
the time.
Got your blood pressure up about 30 points.
I'm so damn frustrated about basketball, men's basketball here. I could have probably done the whole show. If you said, "Why we got to be nice," I probably wouldn't have been. And I'm nicer than Jimmy. So, look.
I've heard y'all two argue that topic before.
Yeah, well, it comes up from time to time. Enjoy your holiday weekend, man. We'll love to have you back right when football's
whenever you need me. I'm good.
TigerBait.com. We'll take a break here at Iverstine Butcher on Perkins Road. Wes Reynolds when we come back live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Workbox Services can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x10, 8x8, 8x20, 8x40, not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial, Workbox, a call at 343-4886, workboxllc.com.
Live at lunch.
Need more space? Workbox LLC has the storage solutions you can count on. Whether you're a homeowner, commercial contractor, or industrial business, we have the space for you. Our secure, versatile storage units are ready to meet your needs. Contractors, keep your site organized and efficient. Store your materials with us and access them anytime you need. Businesses, industries of any size, Workbox LLC is your trusted partner for flexible, safe storage. Workbox 343-4886 and workboxllc.com.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games. Just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. This is Charles Hanniger for Home Bank. If you're tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking, you deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for your businesses and families because they go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business and good for life. Stop by any South Louisiana, Houston, or Natchez area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports. And it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions. Just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video, and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
This is Charles Henniger for Total Maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing. Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. Service today, every day. That's their slogan at Total Maintenance, so nobody ever has to go to sleep hot. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded into the New Orleans area, as well as their offices in Baton Rouge with full staffs in both markets. Call 480-1000 in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
And return here at Iverstine Farms Butcher Combine. See us here on Perkins Road. Get ready for the holiday weekend, 4th of July grilling items, house-made hot dogs, sausages, burgers, pre-made steak burgers, steaks, chicken, and brisket, among the other things. You've got some desserts over here. I could check out that. You could bring, if you could, the meats and everything are already taken care of. Bring a dessert here from Iverstine.
Staring at a pack of cookies right across from you, so I'm staring them down.
Cookies and a little bit of cake too. Let's bring in Wes Reynolds right now. Wes, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Doing good. The 4th of July weekend just about upon us. Man, your week in Indiana, and this has got a local tie-in too. I think the only team screwed worse than the Pacers in the last week has been the Pelicans, and the Pelicans probably kind of did this all to themselves. Wes, to lose Halliburton to a flukish type injury hurt, but this Miles Turner thing yesterday came from completely out of left field for me. I don't know if you were expecting him to leave, but this contract that he signed with Milwaukee and what Milwaukee had to do to get that contract kind of sent shockwaves across the NBA yesterday.
Yeah, it surprised me too, Charlie. I think I thought he was going to resign, but then we didn't really see a lot of movement. It's like, okay, is something out there? Because there weren't a lot of teams that had the cap space necessarily. I think Brooklyn was like the only team that actually had the space where it's like, okay, we can go get this guy. And then what Milwaukee did, and I'll start from the Milwaukee standpoint before I go to what the Pacers standpoint, which is getting most of the discussion. Milwaukee, essentially what they are doing with Miles Turner is when you include what he is obviously being paid, where maybe he got overpaid. Look, I don't blame him and his agent. I would have taken that deal as well, 4 years, 107. But essentially when you account Damian Lillard's dead cap space, you're paying this guy basically $50 million a year. That's the dead cap space, or almost right at $50 million. And, it's kind of like, what are the Bucks doing? Who's their backcourt right now? It's Gary Trent and Kevin Porter. Did the Bucks really get that much better on the pecking order of the Eastern Conference? And I'm not sure that they did. They're obviously grasping at what they can do, I think, to try to keep Giannis happy. But from the Pacers standpoint, they're getting a lot of criticism for Herb Simon and the ownership not willing to go into the tax this time around. I think they absolutely would have had what not happened with Tyrese Halliburton in the first quarter of Game 7, where he's now out essentially until the winter of 2026. I think they would have gone into the tax, but I think they kind of looked at it and it's like, you know what? Miles Turner's offensive production and what he can give you is a lot based on what Tyrese Halliburton can give you on the floor, and he's a little bit dependent upon that. So they decided that they didn't want to go over a certain number here, and I think it's kind of hard to go into the tax and take that leap of faith when you've got your franchise player out till 2026 and not going to be on the floor next season. So I've defended the Pacers a little bit on that move. Now, it's very hard. I just walk away from nothing and not get anything for him, not getting picked, to do a signing trade. and it's especially harder that he's going to your rival, which is the Bucs. If he would have went to the Clippers or signed with the Nuggets or somebody in the Western Conference, I don't think people would have thought it was as big a deal as it is.
The Pelicans' angle on this is that the somewhat under-the-radar deal that was done during the finals that shipped Indiana's 2026 first-round pick back to the Pacers looks even worse now than it did then, because that is a much more valuable piece than it was a week ago. And now when you consider they gave Indiana that pick back, and they sacrificed the Milwaukee or New Orleans pick, whichever is best, to send that to Atlanta. At this point, Derek Queen has to be some combination of Kareem, Wilt, and Moses Malone for New Orleans to get their value out of what they've shipped out. What are the process, just so I can wallow in my sorrow a little bit more, what are the Pacers project as is for the 2025-2026 season?
Yeah, but we'll see what they do in terms of, they obviously have $14 million now to go get a big guy, so they have the better financial package for somebody like DeAndre Ayton, who just got bought out in Portland. He was, of course, tied to the Lakers because Bill Duffy, his agent, also represents one Luka Doncic. So they thought, okay, we can get him, maybe he'll play for the Lakers. But remember, the Pacers signed DeAndre Ayton to that offer sheet a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix matched, and he remained a Phoenix Sun. So there's obviously some interest there. So the way I'd look at it, I think the Pacers are, they're 5-6. Yeah, assuming they get a big man to replace, they're 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range in the East. But the East is going to be topsy-turvy anyway. The news just came out that they hired Mike Brown as coach. I don't know if that makes the Knicks better necessarily. I think that this is going to be – Cleveland is the favorite, and then everybody kind of after that, I think it's in like a big old bush where there's not much separation. But I will say for New Orleans on the Queen drafting, I watched Queen a lot in high school. I watched him a lot at Montverde Academy, Indiana University. My alma mater was recruiting him pretty hard. He's very offensively skilled. He does have some skill. Can he really dedicate himself to staying unlike somebody else maybe in New Orleans? That's been a little bit of a question. But defensively, he's not the quickest to feed defensively, but he's a guy who can get you buckets. And I don't know if I would have, gave up that pick to Atlanta next year. I think that was a hell of a deal for Atlanta to get a first rounder for next year.
And we all like Queen. It's just, at what cost? That's what's greatly exceeded this. By the way, you brought up Bill Duffy. That's a name I think that New Orleans Pelicans fans are going to get to know very well, because he now represents Zion Williamson as well. That kind of flew under the radar a little bit when they made that move, which I think was sometime late last year, late in 2024. But Duffy's now representing Zion. I actually took it as good news when they did that, because I thought that Duffy might be one of the guys who convinced him, hey, you know what, get yourself in better shape and dedicate yourself, because otherwise it's going to cost you a bunch of money. We'll see if that happens, or if Duffy decides to use it as leverage in Zion somewhere else at this time next year. The other thing I had to ask you about your Fever. What do they need Caitlin Clark for? They won that tournament without her. I know you're watching a little bit of that.
Yeah, it seems like they're the NWO of the WNBA.
I got that reference.
All the other players and all the other teams don't like them, but the fans like them. But the fans cheer for them anyway. And very well done by the Fever. They played great defense, and that every time they're kind of out on this team, it's like, well, they show you the potential of what they can be. You obviously need to get 22 back, I think, for a stretch run. But I think, just the rankings, of course, that came out this week, and it wasn't like they ranked them, but they picked the top 4, and Caitlin Clark ended up being the 9th best guard, I guess, according to the players, based on the votes that they submitted to All-Star consideration. And it's like, wait a minute. Aaliyah Boston, same thing, 9th best big or forward or center in the WNBA. Like, there's some hate, there's some jealousy out there, and I think the Fever should just embrace it. And I think maybe they kind of are like, okay, and that's going to be a motivating force, I think, for them to get later in the season. But very impressive what he did on the road to what I think is the best team in the league, the Minnesota Lynx.
Every player in that league is going to make more money because Caitlin Clark is in it. And I don't know if they appreciate that or like that or whatever, but I heard golfer after golfer after golfer say this 25 years ago. Tiger Woods being on this tour, even if he beats us every single time, is going to make me more money. Every single golfer I ever heard talk about that topic said Tiger Woods can win every tournament and it will still be better for me because we have expanded purses, expanded our reach, expanded our media deals. Everything went up because of him. He completely changed the game. That's what Caitlin Clark's doing for the WNBA, whether the players' jealousy will overtake that or not. I can't speak to that. I know the financials, though. I mean, they're pretty obvious to see. All right, Wes, let's move on to golf. John Deere this week. Who are we looking at?
Yeah, John Deere Classic there in the Quad Cities. Going to be hot and humid. Had some success in this event in recent years. Hopefully we keep it going. Start off with Denny McCarthy, 28-1. He's not in the form that he maybe was last year. Not that he's that far removed from it. He's still one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. 7th last year, 6th the year before, 6th the year before that. So good form guy here. I would expect Denny's going to play well. And what is a downfield is this is kind of calm before the storm, before we get to the Open in a couple weeks. A guy played last week that ended up one stroke out of the playoff, Michael Shorborn. Now, I bet him at 90-1 last week, and now I'm getting him at 33-1, but it is a downfield. Runner-up here last year. Guy can make a ton of birdies. He's had a couple close calls this year. Runner-up at the Corrales, 4th down there in your team event down in New Orleans. So he's been up there. He's knocking a door for a win. I think very similar to like what David Thompson was last year. Kevin Yu, 40-1, 6th year 2 years ago, 20th year last year, 4th in the field for stroke gain tee to green. He's got a couple near misses too. 3rd in Canada, 4th in Myrtle Beach back in May. So Kevin Yu, I think, could go well. Bud Colley, 45-1, Justin Thomas's former teammate and roommate at the University of Alabama. 4 top 6 finishes this season. Remember, he had that car accident several years ago. It took basically about 5 or 6 years away from his career. He's still only 35 years old. It seems like he's been out there forever. Still searching for that first win. Really good ball striker. I think he could go well. And then we did have a South African win last week with Pot Jeter. Didn't get it done for us in Mexico, but got it done in Detroit last week. So a couple South Africans here. Christian Bezuidenhout, 75-1. Runner-up here at the Deere back in 2022. Really good on and around the greens, and that's what this turns into, guys, is a putting contest more often than not. And then Kirsten Lawrence at 85-1, who ever since he went back to the DP World Tour for a couple starts, because he had really struggled to start the year, missed 10 or 12 cuts. But then he finished 12th at the U.S. Open, finished T8 last week at Detroit, so he's in very good form. And then we'll go with the Jim Reaper at 100-1. Doug Ginn, who's 124 right now in the FedEx Cup points, needs a couple good weeks to, I think, really safely keep his card. Very accurate ball striker, shorter hitter off the tee, but accurate. But you've seen guys in recent years that fit that profile. Went to Casey Poston, Lucas Glover, Michael Kim, Ryan Moore. So that's what you got to be at the Deere. It's not necessarily a bomber fest like we saw in Detroit last week.
Wes, enjoy your holiday weekend. We always appreciate the time. Thanks a bunch for sharing a few things with us today, and we'll talk to you next week.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me, as always.
All right, Wes Reynolds with us here. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, thethibodeaustore.com. Talk about for the 4th of July. Man, you go to the Thibodeau Store, first of all, we got the Cajun cookware, the specialty cookware. You can also get this on the website. They're not going to be able to ship it before the 4th of July, but if you do want the cookware, they can ship it for free right to your door. But if you're going into the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, Kingsford Charcoal on special right now. Insect repellent. You need this for sometimes for your holiday barbecues. They are on special right now. The Wasp and Hornet Killer, the Deep Woods Off, all of that on special right now. Grills, griddles, the Big Green Egg cookers, all in stock right now. Outdoor patio furniture on special on the website right now. And, of course, this summer you get your patio started. You build that picture-perfect patio area. All of the Outdoor Expressions gear is available at thethibodeaustore.com. All of your power tools, all of your hand tools, all of your garden accessories. You're going fishing for the 4th of July. You're heading down to the coast. Stop at the Thibodaux store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. They're open until 5:30 p.m. So get you ready for the 4th at the Thibodaux store. Online, thethibodeaustore.com. Take a break. Come back. Consensus Golf Picks. Max will join the show when we return here at Iverstine. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest location at Burbank and Bluebonnet. I have an account over there. So great stuff going on over at United Community Bank. So at the United Community Bank, running a business can be difficult enough without the right relationship with your bank. With United Community Bank's local business bankers, you're not just a number, you are a partner. Contact Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, or David Henry and discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at lunch.
Go Automotive has a great selection of new cars. Chevy, GMC, Hummer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You rather a pre-owned vehicle? Using our resources will help find you any vehicle that you're looking for. Our service department offers VIP service. You never have to come to the dealership. We'll pick up the vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner, service the vehicle, and return it when it's done. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from Go Automotive. That's Go Automotive in LaPlace and Plaquemine.
If you're near the north side of campus, I need to remind you about a couple of longtime favorites. Highland Coffee is the original specialty coffee shop in Baton Rouge since the 1980s. My personal favorite, love getting my cappuccino from their friendly, knowledgeable staff, roasted right in the shop. Louis Cafe for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. The Mitchell omelet, Cajun hash browns, Big Cheesy Lou, all served up in that famous open kitchen atmosphere. In Tigertown since 1941. A couple of great spots, Highland Coffees and Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
At Town Square Pizza, we take pride in serving Baton Rouge with fresh, delicious, piping hot, personalized pizza with unmatched speed. Whether you're a downtown worker, a family looking for convenience and value, or an out-of-towner staying at one of the nearby hotels, Town Square Pizza is the spot for you. Try a specialty pizza like the Spanish Town Supreme or custom build your own. Family packs, kids' meals, and salads are available as well. It's hip to be square at Town Square Pizza, downtown facing. What else? Town Square.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video, and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports, and it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions, just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
ALS is a progressive and neurodegenerative disease, and we need your help to find a cure. The mission of the ALS Association, Louisiana, Mississippi chapter, is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS, and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Whether you are newly diagnosed, a military veteran, a caregiver, or someone looking to learn more about how to navigate living with ALS, they can help. Visit als.org to learn more. That's als.org.
104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
And return here at Iverstine Farms Butcher on Perkins Road as we get ready for the 4th of July. Our consensus golf picks brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. If you've been in an accident, if you have legal needs, law firm for a lifetime. That's what it's been for us. Jimmy and I both used Dana and his team of attorneys a number of different times for various legal items. That initial consultation is always free, so you can talk to folks at the law firm of O.C. Brown. Dana and his staff have done a great job for us. 343-1111, and on the web it's OCBrown, OSSIEBrown.com. He's a big golf fan, so we bring in Max for our consensus golf picks. Max, here at the John Deere, what we looking at?
Yeah, not the strongest field ever, but it used to be a week before the Open Championship. Then they added the Scottish Open to the PGA Tour schedule, so now it's a couple weeks before, and it's a decent field. Not a whole lot of great top names. We do have Ben Griffin atop the odds board this week. He's in great form right now. I'm going to steer clear of him, but I will give you Indy Jeff Seeley's picks first. We've got 5 common picks this week, so get your pen and paper ready if you're jotting those down. Jeff Seeley going with Ben Griffin, that's the favorite, as I mentioned, at 17-1, the best price you can find out there. Denny McCarthy, 25-1, who you just heard Wes pick. Kevin Yu, 35-1. Luke Clanton, 45-1. And Emiliano Grillo at 75-1. So those are 5 picks from Jeff Seeley. I'm going to start off my card with a guy who just finished barely outside of winning last week, and that's Chris Kirk. He had a chance on the 72nd hole to win the tournament, just missed out. Ended up losing in that 3-hole or that 3-man playoff that went 4 holes. Aldrich Potgieter, who we were kind of all over the board last week. We said a bomber was going to really succeed. He's the longest hitter in that field and ended up winning. Unfortunately, none of us ended up having Potgieter. But Chris Kirk, 37-1, is not a long hitter and was able to manage a very crowded leaderboard of bombers. So that was interesting to see him kind of overcome his lack of distance. This week should suit him a lot better. Driving distance less important. Driving accuracy very much paramount this week, and he's great with his wedges. It's a bit of a wedge fest, a lot of birdies. And one other key note here, Charlie, the last 3 winners at the John Deere Classic have all stayed at the same house for whatever reason. This has become a bit of a story. It's a lot of the same Georgia guys, people who live in the same area. JT Poston won. Davis Thompson is the defending champion. He's a Georgia guy. Sepp Straka's a Georgia guy. So a lot of the same group has found a way to win the last 3 seasons. Chris Kirk's staying in that house. I researched that. So I had to get one of the guys who's in that house. Chris Kirk, 37-1.
Stop. How did you find out where Chris Kirk is staying? Are you stalking golfers now?
It was asked to Davis Thompson, the defending champion. It's become such a story. They had to ask, who is staying with you this week? Because it's been a successful
What's
trend.
up with the house? This is coincidence, or there's something to this?
I think it's just a bunch of comfortable Georgia guys who all make the trip. And so they're just comfortable with each other. You know, the vibes are good. You know, strokes gain vibes. That's all.
This is information you just can't get anywhere else.
No, Chris Kirk. By the way,
so
also,
they were staying at the Red Roof Inn. Their odds go down or something?
Maybe. But just the other thing is John Deere Classic, the last 3 winners or so, they've also come in with great form. Last year, Davis Thompson had a runner-up finish at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Kirk has the same, finished runner-up. 3 years ago, it was a second-place finish for, I believe it was a JT Poston at the Travelers. Came in, in great form. So there's just a bit of a trend there.
So here's what I know about this tournament. It used to be the week before the Open.
Right.
And if you wanted to get any golfers that were going to play in both events, there had to be some circumstances. I think they provided a private
charter,
plane,
yep.
that was going to go. And 1 year, Jordan Spieth might have been the defending champion or something, and felt obligated to go back and play. It was when he was in his heyday, and he was going to play both of those tournaments, and everybody freaked out. But I got a wedge fest. That's a new term. I haven't.
Yeah, they're just. It's short enough to where the buckets between 100 and 150 yards, that's where it's going to be most common this week. A lot of wedges into these par fours. They're shorter par fours, so that's going to be important this week. One of the guys who's really good in Birdie Fest as well that we've seen in his very young career, and maybe he'll be able to follow up the early success of 20-year-old Aldrich Potgieter, a guy who just turned pro this year, and Luke Clanton, who had great amateur success right out of the gates last year, finished runner-up here just right off the pace last season here at the John Deere Classic. So he's got the course history, and he's, hasn't had the greatest season since turning pro, but he's also someone who does very well in birdies. He's a bit more of a bomber, but he'll be able to club down a little bit more this week, hit irons off the tee. So Luke Clanton, I think he's got the pedigree to potentially break through here at the John Deere, similar to what we saw some of the younger guys last year.
What about the guys that you call the guys that can't close, the perennial losers, the
serial losers?
Serial
yes.
losers.
Tommy Fleetwood is one of those.
What do they stay at, like the Amityville Horror or something?
Yeah.
They're in the wrong house?
The Motel 6. I don't know where they are. But
the haunted house down the road? Okay.
So I'm going to go a little rapid fire here, the rest of my guys. So Kirk and Clanton, my early guys. But Mark Hubbard, 66-1, a great iron player. Also has done pretty well putting on bent grass greens. That's a type of grass we see a little bit more later in the season when we go up north. So Mark Hubbard, 66-1. I think he could break through here potentially. Kevin Roy has been absolutely lighting it up for his standards on the PGA Tour. I'm looking for him this week at 70-1. Roy, no PGA Tour victories to his name, no Korn Ferry Tour victories to his name, but 18th at the Canadian Open and 8th place last week at the Rocket Mortgage. A guy who hits enough fairways, a great wedge player in his own right, and he's been lighting it up the last 3 weeks. Emiliano Grillo, 75-1. I want to be early on him. I've been picking him the last few weeks. This makes a ton of sense. I was on him back in 2022 when he finished runner-up. He was just outside of JT Poston in that tournament. I'm going to be back on him again this week. He's got 4 top 25 finishes in the last 5 starts. His iron play is great. He hits enough fairways, so he fits the mold this week. And then Tristan Lawrence, 90-1, a South African. He has an H. It's spelled Thriston. I know all about having a random H in your name it's not pronounced. So Tristan Lawrence, South African. He's done well in some random majors. He finished 12th in the U.S. Open this year, was 4th last year in the Open Championship, and he's got 3 wins last year, I believe, on the DP World Tour. So he's shown that he can actually win, and he's in some decent form right now. And here are a couple long shots for you, Charlie. These are the ones that maybe you could put some pizza money on. Chandler Phillips, 150-1. He just popped off to me as great in these bucket ranges that I mentioned of 100 to 150 yards, a great wedge player. So Chandler Phillips at 150, I think is just worth a shot just because this is kind of the range that he succeeds in. Hits enough fairways as well, avoids the left side of the golf course, which is important this week. A lot more trouble comes to the left side of TPC Deere Run. And then here's the big one. You could put, a penny on this one and still make money somehow. Paul Peterson is 1,000-1 to win this golf tournament. Now, I'm not saying you just have to bet him outright winner. He's 14-1 to finish top 20. He's plus 450 just to finish in the top 40 of this tournament, which is not the strongest of fields.
And who is he?
Paul Peterson is the shortest hitter on the PGA Tour. He does not hit it long, but that doesn't really matter this week. I looked it up. His average driving distance on tour, it's similar to what I do off the tee. He's not a long hitter. Local guys at your country club can hit as far as this guy does.
Well, I'd bet you at the Island.
Yeah,
I mean,
just short.
You fell apart on the last day, but I mean, you were doing okay for a while.
Well, Paul Peterson, he's not the longest hitter, but he's been finding his irons as of late. He's playing a little better for his standards, and he's someone who can maybe just break through. He's on the outside looking into the FedEx Cup. He's trying to keep his PGA Tour card. He's 161 in the FedEx Cup standings right now, but made the last 2 cuts. This course suits him a little bit better, and his approach play has been great. He's gained on approach in 3 of his last 4 starts. So at 1,000-1, maybe worth a shot. I think the better play is top 20, top 40. But Paul Peterson, the shortest hitter on tour, maybe he can get that putter going and just maybe make enough birdies in a wedge fest, a birdie fest, as I called it earlier. So our 5 common picks, we have no consensus pick, but we have 5 common picks between the 3 contributors. We're going to start off with Denny McCarthy at 25-1. That's the best price you can find right now. Wes and Jeff both like him. Kevin Yu is 35-1. Kevin Yu, 35-1. Luke Clanton, 45-1 between myself and Indy Jeff. We also have Emiliano Grillo between myself and Jeff at 75-1, best price available. And then Tristan Lawrence, the South African, maybe back-to-back South Africans winning on the PGA Tour. Tristan Lawrence is 90-1. So Clanton, Grillo, Lawrence, McCarthy, and Yu are 5 common picks, part of our consensus picks brought to you by Dana Brown.
Where's the Peterson cat staying?
He might be a Motel 6. He hasn't made a whole lot of money. I think he's got like $1 million in career earnings, which is pretty low.
Just
for
$1 million?
Guys. Yeah, they make way more than that. But he'll maybe double his earnings if he wins this week. I will probably double my earnings as well if 1,001 golfer comes through.
Our consensus pick brought to you by Dana Brown and the law office of O.C. Brown. We're also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners when it comes to retirement. No two situations are alike. So let Coastal Capital Advisors work with you, your business partners, your legal team, tax professionals to make sure all of your retirement goals are in line. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I can tell you for sure because they've done a great job for our family. Feel very good about the relationship with Phil Fontenot and his staff. 337-981-1376 is the number. Online, coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA SIPC. We're back to wrap it up here at Iverstine Butcher on Perkins Road, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, Big Cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original.
Jordan?
Yeah.
For the promo, I don't know who's doing the show Monday yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to say, yeah. You did say that.
I'll do it. Just go ahead and give it to me.
Okay. All right. All right, it's rolling.
This is Charles Handigraf. We're taking a long holiday weekend, so Live at Lunch returns on Monday at 11 a.m. Show will be in studio. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. Monday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Crown Town room is ideal for larger groups.
What's up? You don't want that one?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports, and it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions, just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
This is Charles Handigraf for Coastal Capital Advisors. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike, so Coastal Capital Advisors will tailor a plan for your family's needs, no matter your age or your financial situation. The bottom line is Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and build a lifetime relationship. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Age Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and OCBrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance and Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny.
One of the great upsets in sports history happened last night. Red Panda fell. I mean, this is like watching the Globetrotters lose. I mean, I've seen Red Panda. She is phenomenal. Seen her at the Assembly Center a bunch of times. This lady is on a 8-foot unicycle, balancing bowls on her head. She fell last night. Now, you want to talk about shake me up, man. I mean, this is like watching Penn and Teller go to do their act and actually sawing a woman in half. I mean, come on. Red Panda doesn't fall.
Is there more, like, what's the approval rating of Red Panda? I feel like everyone loves Red Panda.
Who
Caitlin
doesn't?
Clark came out after the game. She didn't even play. She was like, how's Red Panda doing?
Yes, of course.
It looks like she maybe hurt her wrist on the
she's
fall.
gonna be
but
okay.
yeah, I actually think they act like this. There was a time she had the yips because she had her unicycle stolen. I don't know if you ever heard this story. The unicycle was stolen. She had to use a temporary one. She kind of had the yips. She dropped some bowls and things like that. But I think it almost, anytime there's a setback like this, it almost makes the act more entertaining because it reminds you that, it's not
She's
automatic,
human.
right?
Yeah,
So
right.
she fell. If she comes back, I don't think she's washed or anything like that. She'll come back. She'll be good, and it just makes the act a little bit more entertaining.
She is over 50 now, so I mean,
she's great.
Yes,
I've seen her at the
great.
PMAC many
Everybody
times as
loves
well.
Red
Yep.
Panda. Our best goes out. Here at Iverstine, your 4th of July grilling items, your homemade hot dogs, sausages, burgers, pre-made steak burgers, chicken, brisket, and a whole lot more here at Iverstine. We are taking the long holiday weekend. We will not have a show tomorrow or Friday. We'll be back on Monday. Our crew is out. We will have a substitute host on Monday, so we'll attend funeral services for Coach Odd, and then the show will be back full-time on Tuesday. For Jordan, for Max, thanks to Mike Scarborough, and for everybody here at Iverstine, I'm Charles Henniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch.
Workbox can handle all of your...
All right, fellas, y'all enjoy the weekend.
You too.
Okay, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it.
All right, see you.
8x20 or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different